hey, all this Xenoses, now we're finally gonna do more of their first time playing Harlowe and stuff that. I meant to record more of this yesterday, but I didn't because of the upload finish. Like I did some Gran Turismo and stuff that, or while doing like the uploads and stuff that, because the uploads weren't done when I'd like recorded both of the parts, you know. And then, in Gran Turismo, there were some stuff to do and stuff that I did, and stuff that. And there were like a race that I had to repeat and stuff that. But anyway, we took over this place. I didn't do it fully in the previous recording session, but yeah. So we have gotten 4 points into field ready prototype. Now the thing is interesting though, because we could theoretically use equip another action skill that has less of a cooldown, like that was 38 seconds. This of course has a 55-second cooldown, but it has 22 seconds, and I believe it will begin its cooldown immediately, even before the duration is finished. And this one, of course, is a 10-second duration, has a 5-second cooldown, which is only slightly worse than what this has and stuff like that. But for example, like if we go into this, for example, there's just because that is not specifically affected by this, right? That there are sometimes there are of course skills that will kind of affect this, right? But there are usually the things there are in a tree, for example, the skills and stuff in a tree will like affect everything, will affect like all of the different things. So yeah. So for example, we could go with 0 point, for example, or we could go with the flux generator thing instead, and stuff like that. So yeah. But I like it the fact that the explosion deals the whole radiation damage, because the thing that I wanted to reach was, of course, kinda the demon core, because that shoots radiation darts. Now it is a bit, of course, that's increased skill damage from that though. This is action skill damage, because that's an action skill, right? But what do they mean with regular skill damage and stuff that, right? Because action skill, of course, this is an action skill. All of these are action skills and stuff that. So what do they mean with regular skill damage and stuff that? So that's action skill damage. This, of course, says regular skill damage here and stuff that. Right? Is that used? Do they mean the entangled part? Skill damage. Yeah, so does that mean, for example, the entangled enemies, or is that means that the entanglement part of the damage, for example, the things that causes entanglement, is that then the thing that counts as a skill damage thing? Is the question. Or why do they sometimes word it as action skill damage? Like, what do they actually mean with skill damage and stuff like that? Because they do have it separate here, yeah. Action skill damage and skill damage, like, what do they exactly mean with skill damage and stuff that? Because these have to be like, because if they say action skill damage, then it's everything from this, for example, that should increase, right? Because the pass by damage should increase the detonation damage, but does that mean that's specifically the entangle damage? Because you see the share damage 7% of damage dealt. Share entangled enemy share a portion of gun damage. Because of course, if you go into this, for example, when you go into this, for example, this, that also causes radiation thing. Yeah, and it can no longer be manually detonated. But the thing is also, of course, that if you would all focus on one tree, for example, then you could go into multiple trees. So you could have, for example, you could have the field research or the containment breach, but still have the demon core as the capstone and stuff like that. Because of course, once you unlock once you get 5 points into this and you get to this first tier here, you can use any of these three, for example. You will be able to use field research, special purpose magnets, and the containment breach and stuff like that. But of course, to use the capstone, you need to choose, okay, like which capstone do you actually want, and stuff like that. That is something that you need to be doing, of course. And yeah, and we did get rid of all the stuff there. I did go into the SDU here, and we got 3 out of that in the backpack, and then 1 point into the lost loot. Let's see, is there anything interesting here? Okay. So we got the energy shield here. Let me have this one equipped. 275. Plus the... So that is better used. Right, but this one recovers more. When you get 30% chance to absorb bullets. Yeah. And that is 3 seconds though. And that's not a lot of money, so we get that. We will actually equip that. Right, I am running hard, yeah. I always double check it, in case, because I don't think there's going to be anything that could use that automatically change that, but yeah. So we're going with this instead. And then we can sell.
No problem. I'll patch you up in no time.
So we can get rid of that. We can get rid of that.
Sweet, that wasn't so bad now, was it?
Well, high-ish price. Oh, that's a sniper. I think that's just better than the sniper we have. 109 on a sniper. Yeah, we don't have a sniper equipped. We have a handgun. So that's 96, that's 81, that's 67. And you were, what brand were you? You are Order. Order snipers are pretty damn good. Okay, and it has all sharding thing. At 4% accuracy to 2.1. Yeah, very, very slow fire rate, but pretty sick looking as well. Yeah, we'll take those. And we put that here. So we go shotgun, sniper, pistol.
Tips welcome. Money, not advice.
Get rid of that. Really cool looking, like I definitely like the whole Order vibe, how they lose some sort of crystal thing like an energy or whatever, There is no escape. Gas. Well, that's all of the stockroom discovered. Oh, you discovered it from that distance, yeah.
I may not have been able to feel the knife entering his chest. But that sound. Did you hear it? Or were you more focused on the light fading from his eyes? So hard to choose. His final thoughts were revealed.
Why are you attacking me, Mr. Calhorns?
I just thought you should know.
I don't see the big guys, though. There's, Oh, you are a big guy here. Did he bring him all the way from somewhere else? Yeah, you better run. Okay, is that a lair of theirs then? Did they like live here? No. Mine. Yeah, but is this just the? Is this just this mine? The one with the water where you jump down? Well, you're not. You don't jump down, rather. But you know what I mean. And that's of course eventually something you will interact with, of course. Sometimes there can be loot in here, though. Sometimes. There is potential that it is in both of these fridges here. Loot. Ooh, actual green thing. A fang. Which of course is an salty rifles. Which is 64. which is not good. Yeah, but it's dangerous, of course, always if it's called. If it has certain names, for example, you can immediately start knowing that, okay, it's this brand, always if it's this like name. So if that's like GSX is always dangerous as well. So that's, yeah. Now I forgot what brands Borderlands 3 introduced and stuff like that, because they're all, of course, black things that have disappeared, like from the series and stuff like that, certain brands. And there were, of course, certain brands also that existed that were only like pangolin, for example, were only like shields and stuff that, if I remember correctly. Maybe there were grenades too that were pangolin. But yeah, but they were like, for example, like Bandit has, of course, disappeared, used as a brand, and stuff like that, because that was more Pandora thing. Like, was Bandit specifically supposed to be like the brand of the, the thing?
Oh, I mapped that out perfectly.
Yeah. If you don't take the aggro, by the way, and you're far enough away, then you can just snap them without having to worry about them moving and stuff that, Like, snipers always tends to be pretty useful and stuff that, especially if enemies are unaware. Then the snipers are generally quite good. I think there's something here. Right. There's some. Okay. You can fight decently quick with this still, even though it's like a slow fire rate. Use tip fire instead. Boink, boink. Okay. What now, kitten? Except they don't really look like cats. Okay, green thing, and that's just a mini steroid something. What is that? Mini steroid, I'll still okay. Where's healing? Can use more often though, every 16 seconds, 45 hit per second. And that's the hard hitter, so that's for melee damage and stuff that, It is always interesting if they do give you melee builds with most of the characters and stuff that, Okay. Och det kan jag hantera. Rain. Okay. Yeah, they are further down there. I can probably go down here now. And then he's gonna come up here.
Is any fight with me really fair?
Are they gonna start coming up, or are they further down? There is gonna run away. Yeah, we can get back up here again. Just like that. Nah. Let's go this way instead. That is way safer, because otherwise we might. Oh, we probably already aggro them. Nah. We haven't aggroed them. Usually it's understandable when they attack you, because you usually see if you go near their nests, basically, and stuff that makes sense, and stuff that. Why do they just have like those things sometimes near the settlement,
I won't let you bring up the rest of my babies.
Alright, but maybe you need to get here fast enough to be able to see them and stuff that. But I remember at one point there were like those horn things down here and stuff that. There were those horn things down there and stuff that, right? and they were like a very very weird level and stuff. That like it wasn't directly like question mark because I don't think they ever show you question mark level. Or maybe I'm misremembering and stuff that, but yeah. This village is of course very very nice because you have access to guns here. An item of the day, that's a shotgun. That's a sniper. Assault rifle. TDR. And a recited punct. You never get me plucky arms. I think that might have been a guy that was introduced in a later Borderlands game or whatever, right? But I really, really like it how when you had Marcus as the whole weapon vendor and stuff that how you got introduced to the character. Same thing with how you got introduced to Doctor Shade and stuff that, right? Like.
I say, I'm ever so parched, and this moonshine I've procured may be just.
But it is crazy that Zed's shops. I don't think that Zed went with Sanctuary or whatever, right? There were like several characters that, because Sanctuary, of course, they did add that extra DLC actually later on that was like free for, I think it was free, maybe it wasn't free. Like the final DLC that actually came out for Borderlands 2, this came out several years after all the other DLCs had been out. And that was the thing that, of course, added to the story. Of course, that, oh, hey, the Sanctuary became, flying basically and stuff that, that it became the whole spaceship thing and stuff that, which was used, of course, in Borderlands 3 and stuff that, so yeah. Yoink. Okay. Stoic foxhole. The small diners aren't happy. Yum yum. Delicious food. Sturdy, okay. Ooh, yeah, that's sturdy can be pretty good sometimes because that can make you like way more tankier. Sometimes for a short while. Yeah. We are where exactly? We are very close to that place that we could take over. You kill enemies with sniper rifles unscoped. I think we don't have access to that many heads. Spacewalk roundabout, curls. You can see like a lot of these are the same for everyone, like the whole Kittycopter thing and these things, and stuff that like there are certain ones that are like unique and stuff that, but I feel like there are way too few that are like that are like unique and stuff that. And hopefully they will add more over time as well. Remember, right, that the whole Minecraft thing that was already like in Borderlands 2, right? Because they had the whole pixely heads and stuff that. Outside, of course, the Minecraft colors weren't that interesting on the characters and stuff that. Yeah. Okay. Okay, level 6. That's a bit of a power spike because you get the 5 point here. And yeah, now we can get this now. Yeah, the all damage för oss deals the enemy store whenever it explodes a portion that store damage distance at all gun. Meaning that basically while this is cooling down, 8 of those seconds you can spend dealing more like a gun damage basically. And it has to do with the amount of action skill damage you deal. So having this, for example, increase your action skill damage because it says damage and save percent of action skill damage dealt. So the more your action skill can deal damage, the more you can get via this. So that has synergy, these two. and stuff that, of course. So that's interesting. Of course, and we are getting these 5 points here, so we can get the elemental damage and stuff like that. And of course, this one is also going to be interesting there with the action cooldown rate, and then we had action cooldown rate also in another 3 here somewhere. Was it in the green tree or was it in the blue tree? It is. But that is not the same thing because that is used specifically per the thing. But of course, you also have the whenever Harlowe is ready, it's an enemy she gains increased gun damage, and deals radiation damage to an enemy she gains increased action skill damage. Yeah, that's action skill cooldown rate, the pulse drive that I've talked about as well. Gains increased elemental damage. So like all the increased elemental damage seems to be very, very useful, all the increase on elemental damage. The green tree, however, has of course these two that we can get that is very, very useful as well. Stuff that, But then this one also had some things. Or whenever she re-trigger her action skill, the next shot from guns. The bonus of that. So yeah, we gain 4% each time. So that's going to be 20, right? Yeah, so 4, 8. No, that's going to be more actually. 4, 8, 12, 16, right? No. Yeah, 16. And then 20. Yeah, it's going to be 20%. But 20% elemental damage and 20% status effect damage. But this, of course, means, for example, if you would want to get a class mod, and if it would specifically have elemental, then if it keeps getting 4% each time, then that means, for example, like, if you got 2 extra points in that, so you could get up to 7 points, then that would be like 28% more, and stuff that, so that's something to always remember that is very important. He's not coming towards me. I'm gonna wait until he moves in a simpler way. There are guys here. Wow, the explosion is absolutely huge, man.
Oh, I mapped that out perfectly.
Are you trying to attack me? I ain't fucking hit you. Damn it. Okay. All clear.
I'm glad you are.
Okay. Very nice indeed, but it's probably not going to be strong quality. So that's going to be like a TDO then, because it's called Throne in the name, yeah. But that one is interesting because that one has status damage actually. It wasn't a Toilet of Doom, it wasn't that. Toilet of Doom, that's basically if a toilet is a legendary toilet in my opinion, A legendary toilet, like. So it's this place, yeah. Your love's a more than. fucking blow them up.
You're dead to me, like everyone else.
Yeah, you can see this. So the nuclear have the whole status effect of them like shaking around and stuff that that's not necessarily used when they die and stuff that. So that, for example, like status effect chance means, I'm pretty sure that it's supposed to mean that, oh, the secondary effect that an elemental skill causes, for example, like the secondary effect, like you cause like electrocution with the whole electrical things, right? You know, you cause that, for example, and with the radiation, you cause like radiation damage or something like that, you know, or you know. The question is though, do we have the thing that happened in that was I think introduced in Borderlands 2, right? The weapons that, you know, made you do more elemental damage or whatever. I forgot what they were called. A lot of Moxie's weapons had that effect actually. Except that because there was several weapons that were actually technically Moxie weapons. Like the Moxie weren't specifically like a brand or whatever, right? You know, but still, you know. Okay. This one is the one with the... Oops, that was a bit wrong to do. I healed. Zip rockets. Loot. We got a little sniper ammo there actually. Bibbidi boop. And we can just take this over. Because generally speaking, these whole like silo buildings are easier basically to take over and stuff that like they are not as hard to take over because you don't need to find like a data pad or whatever, right? But yeah, but the silos are important. No. Dune. Right, and we get these, boom, and then we have 10 points, and we can get into lost loot, boom. There we go, nice. So now we have 36 backpack slots. So plus 20 is what we have gotten in total from having 4 points into it, 20 plus extra backpack slots. And that's still an assault rifle. Oh, that's an 86 damage assault rifle though. And ours is 81, okay. So that is technically better. Because that's a level 3 and this is the level 6, then this is changed right to a level 6. But it's a Jacobs though. And I mean, that's decent though. Sometimes, you know, sometimes you have to check the neutral ones out, like that, for example, 92 DPS on that. Even though it's a black white one and stuff that, you know, it's, you know, because there are sometimes they can roll insane things, or like even white items and stuff that sometimes you can get some insane rolls on white items, which is actually pretty hilarious when it happens and stuff that. Stick foxhole, large synergizing, okay, overshield on either side and healing grants and overshield equal to the rep kit's initial heal amount. And I don't ever think that the white shields here can have like, so the smaller one shield are Daedalus, smaller one, Daedalus a blood of, Jacobs. But it is boring if they have made it so that there aren't brands that are like only shields, if they have like removed that and stuff that. I forgot which brand the turtle shields are now. Because, you know, I was afraid that turtle shields were gonna like disappear and stuff that, you know. Stuff that, but yeah. But keep in mind, of course, that when something has like, right, we were gonna. But we've only gotten 4 stuff in the inventory, it's not worth selling yet. I feel like at that point. The thing that I wish here though, that you can see how much you have in the bank here, I kind of wish that they could show up here like, oh, how many do you have in the thing, right? Because I feel like also that it is very annoying that you have to literally unlock your. You have to literally go and unlock your. Right, you have to go and unlock the main place. Basically, you have to go unlock the main place in order to get the. Oh, not the pin. The legend. What is it called? It's not the firmware. Where is it? Yeah, the lost loot machine. Because the lost loot machine is generally speaking. Oh, so you can show to not show certain things. Golden chest legendary items. So yeah, so there are like if you ever have like a legendary that drops and you miss it for whatever reason, like things get like. And then you have collectibles here, Deadbolt, Vault Hunt, Get Kairos, Vault Symbol, Evocarium, Survivalist. And certain things are of course only in certain areas. Certain things and stuff that's yeah. That is very nice. Now the thing is of course that the amp shield or specifically the B amp works in a very, very special way. Like I feel like a lot of lamp shields, of course, the whole fact is that it only works for one shot because it drains your shield or whatever, right? Now the thing generally with the B shield, if I remember correctly, is that the B shield, the shield portion of the B shield was like very, very weak. Like it was not very powerful at all. That part of it at least. Okay, you're a caustic badass. We can explode the Reno, kaboomers. And now you all of a sudden take a shit ton of damage. Yeah, and there's something here. It's a fucking bad turret. Okay, so I was resistant to that, right? Yeah. Or I was resistant to toxic, and I believe it was the badass that threw out that turret, so it was because of the 15% extra resistance to that we didn't like lose like the armor super quickly. Malivan? No order. No order. Ooh, 106 though. Man, that's an assault rifle though. Yeah, 106. So it has only 2.3 fire rate, so it's not super quick. Yeah, so it has way less fire rate. It has way smaller magazine, but it has 2.3 second reload. And yeah, it's just, and you can see which whole slot it's highlighted there. So yeah, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good, I love all the guns, Some of them are pretty cool looking. This one was actually pretty sweet looking. All things considered, they feel like they're definitely that they feel like they're supposed to be like the Hyperion of this game. But does that mean that the Order will have like a shotgun that will feel as good as like what was it? Conference call? What is something? I think it was conference call or whatever, right? It was called like because it had it had kind of like the thing that usually the torque guns would have. It had a whole like split projectiles and stuff. That I know that a lot of shotguns have that now and stuff that but I feel like maybe there were always shotguns having like the whole split projectiles, right? But it was like you could get that from the final boss and stuff like that. And if you got a good rolled one, because of course like the dead, so who cares? Okay, how much longer can we record? Good. We're gonna have a boss here for once. Stuff that, I mean, I haven't had it. Okay.
Careful, this thing's experimental.
Okay. Shibushki. And he had one of those self-detonating things on him. That's a lurking Mookie. And you was like, were you standing there? Utan att säga Jacob 78 TPS. See, the bubble is here. Meaning for boss time. Yeah, the speed angle. Oh, it can actually spawn in this location. That's the boss that we fought in that other place. But now I'm taking no fucking risk. But your star still probably deal a lot of damage. Fuck, man. I don't want to fucking leave the bubble here because maybe we die, maybe we just despawn it. Yeah, okay, that's what just makes it disappear. Just as soon as you leave the bubble, it just disappears. Look at that, and now there's absolutely no way we're gonna reach any of the ones in time. Oh, he jumped out at the last second, but yeah. Maybe if I had a sniper equipped there, I could have killed him in time. And then just one dice on use his own there. Okay, so confirm that if you leave the bubble only slightly, but sometimes you get the fucking bubble in a really bad location, like there were nowhere to like hide there, for example, and like let your shields like recharge or anything. Stuff that was just like really bad. And of course, the thing won't respawn yet, you know, and stuff that like, and now it may take, you know, I don't know, 1 hour maybe. I don't know, maybe it's not that bad, but still, you know. And then now all of a sudden there are like things down here, you know. Okay, that was really bad. I was just going completely misfired. Alright, I'm looking completely wrong there at the crosshair. I don't know where it was. It shows that there should be something kinda like around here somewhere. What are they? So there's a guy over here as well. Whoops. I probably can just quickly get back up there again. But the question is then, will the bubble is not there yet, so yeah. But it is so weird, right, that, for example, like I've seen the bubble in that area be like way larger, the area it actually covered. And stuff that, you know. I've seen the area be way bigger. Ooh, we got the rod from something, we got... Yeah, that's one of the vehicle things. The order as a hover drive. Because, yeah, you can earn them even before you even have the vehicle and stuff that, you know. Which is nice. Usually they're linked to each of the whole things, so the more you use certain guns, for example, the more of them you can have unlocked. So they have like higher ranks to them as well. I don't know what the maximum rank is, if it's only like rank 3 or whatever, right? Or if they all end up being the same when they're max rank or whatever, you know. Okay. Okay. Open that. I am the garbage man. Otherwise, this is a pretty chill place. Ooh. I definitely thought that was going to be something. Why are you pre-firing? What are you like? But it is kind of bad because why it doesn't say anywhere that the world boss will use like despawn as soon as you go outside the bubble or whatever, right? You know, there is nothing like, you know, that would indicate that that would be the case. And sometimes, right, that I feel like the bubble also isn't always the same size or not always cover like enough of the location because like you can say that, oh, I could have taken cover here, but I'm pretty certain that here was already outside of the bubble. Right, or did the bubble start here? Yeah, the bubble started here, right? It didn't start like up here. Maybe it did start up here or whatever, right? But for example, like you couldn't even take cover here because the bubble didn't go far enough this direction, right? But I will be able to check back on the clip and see, you know. Caliburn shotgun, that's 81 DPS, which is worse. And that's so dangerous. But also sometimes you cannot just blindly look at the DPS sometimes. Because sometimes you can have like extra functions or something, you know, and stuff that like sometimes, you know, sometimes they can be a very, very valuable like alt fire to something, you know. Because there are several alt fire modes that are like very, very powerful. Like the zip rockets are always like very good usually because the zip rockets I feel like the zip rockets though should have used been like a torque part and stuff that, you know. Because that's what I usually consider zip rockets to make sense with, you know, and stuff that, you know, but yeah. But I believe like there are zip rockets that are used, you know, that aren't part of our brand or whatever, right? That you can have on like the guns that was on like the purple here, for example, like the zip rockets there, for example, you know. So that because it doesn't say a specific brand on those. But then, for example, you can also have zip rockets on torque stuff that in generally those zip rockets are stronger, whatever, right? Because you know. And this kind of reminds me of that on one place in the thing. I wonder if this is going to be a thing here eventually. Stuff that because it definitely looks like, oh, you would be able to break this, but not right now. There are definitely some things there on the table. It looks like that is something that one thing on the table there is something, you know. Or that would be the starting location of an extra character or something like that. Oh, we cannot shoot that. I mean, sometimes you never know. You should have feel though in this area, right, that there are usually, you know, those blockers there that I missed. Is this the one where the thing is, or am I just completely... Yeah, this is where the symbol is. In the house. So this is gonna have the guns upstairs. How much do we have? 8 out of 36. It's not that bad. But then the funny thing is it's always worth checking all containers. And one might say that, oh, this always contains ammo, for example, the whole ammo container things. You know, we have seen the container not be ammo and stuff that, you know. So let's use that. Yeah, the first upgrade is 5, so we could get more sniper, yeah. Let's just get more sniper rounds, because sniper is so very powerful. Because these contain, most of the time they contain good tons of ammo, but we saw there, I forgot if it was in a recording that I did or whatever, but there were like a time when I saw one of these chests not be ammunition and stuff, that's right. So that's when you realize that, yeah, that even something like this could contain like a legendary and stuff that, yeah, sure, the chances are very small, but you know. So let's try and actually open this first and open the higher tier after. Okay, only ammo this time. Some interesting things here though. So let's see here. We got some new grenades. We got the Molly one. 136 damage, so that's more damage. That can be used less often as less charges. It has 27 of the nuclear damage though. The damage is increased and they stick to enemies. And I need to land on ground will propel himself at the nearest incoming enemy. And it's booming plasma grenades. And you have two effects. There's some manufactured but from other ones specifically. Yeah. And radiation is strong against shields. And then we got the Daedalus. With the power booster on it, yeah. The gun scan damage. We got the Red of the machine gun with 82 damage. Which is pretty nice. And that's a Vlad that is more like no. You know. Almost a machine gun with 16 fire and 10 radiation. It has pretty quick fire rate. That's another model one. You can see these, for example. Bottom level 6, 59 DPS, 56 DPS. That one has very fast fire rate though. Same reload speed, same kind of almost accuracy. This one has 12 damage, this one has 14. And both of them are incendiary and radiation, but this one has very fast fire rate. And again, I said that you could see the mark from somewhere and stuff that, if I remember correctly, that you could see it out human distance. Yeah, it's basically all like over here, right? Isn't it? Yeah. Well, technically it's... No, it's definitely over here. You can see that when you jumped out of there, you saw the orange mark over there, basically. Oh, and this is usually something people miss. Okay. That one has a high chance to actually be something, those small things, which is very interesting. Yeah. And was it?
I don't know if us outbounders have to join this Crimson Resistance to get some help, but
Right, and then we can get for the assault rifle as well. There we go, used to have some more ammo for both of them and stuff that, because, you know, both of them are my order thing, but yeah.
we're in. This better not be another pyramid scheme. Already got a whole closet full of supplements. Screw it. This is my legally binding verbal confirmation that we'll join the Crimson Resistance.
New recruits already. Claptrap should be happy.
And yeah, you can slide when you're going like downhill and stuff that, and then it can be really useful because of how far you can slide.
Murder aside, that's a good-looking robot.
Nuclear. I'm doing more of the explosion now because it just seems that if it detonates on its own, it doesn't seem to do the same amount of damage, so you get that massive explosion. Okay. Blue, green, 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 green. Those were some interesting looking things though. Just my first glance. Oh, that's a mer payload, but that's a knife payload. Oh. Grenade projectile speed is reduced, so it moves slower. It moves slower. Yeah. It does more damage. It does 3 charges, same thing as this. So it doesn't have as many effects. Like the spring augment, for example, making it bounce and explode on each bounce, which can make it do a lot of damage. That's interesting though. Anything weak points. Yeah, increase buffet. So wait, so Merv grenades, right? So does it actually spawn like proper grenades, or do they spawn specifically more knives? Because, yeah. TDR. A lot of submachine gun, that's 87 damage on that. Which is actually more than that. TDR. Then we have this Stalking Mookie. Okay. And we had another Malavan here. That's better. Shield wise, just a little bit. It has more per second. It has 4.7 though. But it has the 5% chance to give you the damage reduction. Nah. No. I was good with that. And how many slots? Yeah. Okay, good. We have good enough slots. I'm pretty certain that we have already triggered these ballistas and stuff that, that we already have the thing, yeah. I forgot how big the distance is when it activates, right? Well, like how close you need to be, how far away you can be from it, to have the thing be active. Oh, there are some. Oh, you didn't stick me right. That would be bad. Yeah, that's, you see there how it bounces there, how it's like literally like. That was actually a very smart usage of it, just because I knew that they weren't going to be able to move really there because they were very close to a wall. Oh, he managed to get away somehow. Or maybe he managed to get hurt from a distance. Maybe that guy was never the guy that was on the other side. Ooh. That's a... That... Was that a white Malvan? Like in terms of its looks, yeah. It is only 68 DPS. It has 75% accuracy though. 2.0 second cooldown. 0.9 on the fire rate. So this one is one of those that has the effect. Like the really slow firing like effect. Like the one that fires that ball thing. But the ball thing does so much fucking elemental damage. Yeah, this type. It has a very, very decent splash radius though. But I definitely feel like right that once we get a few points into that to increase elemental damage and status effect damage, then that just becomes immediately more insane. It's pretty interesting, like why do they have a specific run that's running with like fucking shit things, and then these are basically piles of shit here. So they're like what, like fucking transporting shit. Beep boop, robot must shit, beep. Robots must shit, beep.
I thought I smelled a mixture of dirt and plasma. This must be the place.
We must save the farmers.
By edict of the Timekeeper, planning or even discussing planetary escape is now punishable by death. The time
We have the whole buff now, right? But I don't see where. Oh, right, that's. I thought that there would always be an icon though to indicate if you're affected by buff or whatever, because that was weird. Why are you right here? Like they were all of a sudden, like it was like a bunch of the others disappeared. Now they are over there. A shaboink. And then while it's firing, put a point in. So the question is, does that mean that it increases the chance for the Maliban here? Where's the shotgun? That one. 145 and 188. And there are 12% chance. But yeah, but generally speaking with Maliban, you want to wait until you start getting the higher quality of them and stuff that, you know. Guess what? So we're level 7 now, right? So 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right, so level 11 we will have all the points into this at level 11. And then 12, 13, 14. We will have all the points into this to gain like increased radiation damage. And then 14 we will get elephant's foot. And then right, and that is 4 points. And then the last point then into test cyberbags after that. And then we will be able to get 5 points into that. Then you can go with that, like all of these are worth getting. For example, then this would be 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. But taking these, for example, taking these augments and the capstone doesn't require you to you know, so that's a 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So yeah, so 18 points investment into that. Which probably makes it so that I will just have to focus around 1 tree, probably most likely, you know, stuff that. But yeah, but it just seems that there's a lot of good effects in this. Great Red Dot is probably also worth taking and stuff that, right? You know. Status effect chance also is going to be interesting, probably as well to get stuff that, you know. So right, so with this, right, you want the shield to break very often, right? Stuff that with that, I feel like, you know. Alright, you're over here.